See the weight you carry, it's written in your eyes, the kind of ache that takes up every corner of your mind. You're sitting in the silence, drowning in the doubt. I've been sitting there before, I know there's a way out. The world feels like it's caving in. Those dark thoughts, don't let them win. Just stay. Just stay. It's almost more than you can take. Please just stay. I swear the light will find you someday, and you'll be glad you stayed. So just stay.
Hey, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another week with Just Stay. We are so grateful to have the opportunity to be here with you another week. And I know we say it every week, but I don't think we have relayed to our listeners just how much responsibility we feel to record every week. I've said before, some weeks are easier to record than others. I don't know why this month has been so hard to get together and record. It's been a busy month. We've got one more event coming up this month, Lanterns on the Lake. That's Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have some nerves about it, but so far I think what they have planned is going to be really special.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really cool. I know we've said this before, but I think it's putting all of our efforts into some action. So I think it's going to be really fulfilling in that way. I don't know. I'm excited. My parents actually, it was like a last minute thing. They kind of surprised me, but are surprising my girls, and they're flying in from Arizona. And it just so happened that it was the same weekend as this, but I'm really glad that they'll be able to participate, and be able to be there. And I know that they've been very anxious, my mom especially, to like see you and reconnect with you. And so I'm really excited about it. Before we started recording, you had mentioned something that I think is probably important to talk about. Do you want to go ahead and say that again?
I was just telling Kenzie that Destin, he was on our episode a couple of weeks ago, reached out to me this week, and they had planned on funding this event with sponsors and with ticket sales and all of that, and that they were having a hard time getting sponsors to sign up and to help out with this, because they said that they were all on board, and then as soon as suicide was mentioned, people really backed off. It was kind of treated as like a dirty word, and I get it. It's not just because I talk a lot about it doesn't mean it's a word that I necessarily like to talk about, but there were not a lot of businesses and people that wanted to be involved in this event. And I can't help but think, okay, is it from the stigma? Is it because once we start saying it, it might happen? But it's already happening. There was did you see the story of the 9th grader in Utah, in Orem? This last week, a 9th grade kid took a weapon to school and died by suicide in front of all of his classmates. And I just feel so sad that this kid was in that much pain to do that. And I can only imagine, well, I know it's not the exact same, but I know the pain that his mom in particular is going through. And it's rough. Every time I see a news article about somebody else, I'm like, oh, the steps that his or her family is going to have to take this next few months and for the rest of their lives they're hard steps to take. So, yeah, just makes me think how much pain he had to be in, or she. I can't remember which one. But East Idaho News did a really nice article about the event and about my son Elijah and kind of the movement we're trying to form. And I was really happy with the way it was written. It was just really nice. And, we have our community supports us 100%. So anything with Elijah, they share it and they share it and they share it, which is amazing. But when I'm scrolling through my phone and it's like Elijah, like pictures of him over and over and over again. And I'm like, I know he's making a difference, but it's a hard reminder. Like every time we do an article or anytime we do an event and his face is plastered on the front page, it's hard. Like his face should be on the front page for something else.
I guess I'd never thought about, I'm going to try and express what's going on in my head. Like I know that pain never goes away. At least that's what I've heard, and that's what I can imagine. For some reason, I thought that by trying to honor like his memory and keep his memory alive, that would like help alleviate the pain. And not, I'm sure maybe sometimes it does for you, but I guess I didn't realize that it would also be difficult to see that over and over and over again. Yeah. Like in my head, it was like, this is a way that Brandy is kind of helping Elia's life live on. But then to have that constant reminder over and over of, his beautiful face, everyone's reposting, like that has got to be hard.
He's like, this is his legacy. Unfortunately, I feel like, and I've done this, like he's the poster child for suicide. And I've done it to myself, but I see those articles and I'm like, this needs to happen. This needs to be talked about. This needs to happen. And I'm so grateful that they're writing about it and they're talking about it. But it's definitely at the expense of, I have to put my own pain aside for the chance that somebody that needs it might read it or see it or something. Like I do feel like I'm sacrificing my own feelings to put him in the news. Like this is like the 4th time this year, which is so good. And I'm so grateful for the support. It's just, it is hard. It is hard.
I don't know why I had never considered that. Do you feel like talking every week about mental health, about suicide, does that also take a toll on you?
Not as much, no, because I feel like I talk about my own experience a lot and I talk a lot about his life. It takes a little bit of a toll on me, but it's not. I just think I had that realization today where like I'm scrolling and it pops up and it pops up and it pops up and it hurts,
every time.
Like I'm proud of what we're doing, but it still stings a little bit. And then there's still that, you read an article about another kid taking his life and there's also that, like, it's still happening. It kind of feels like I'm not doing enough.
I get that.
But I think maybe it's just a culmination of like this month has just been a lot.
I agree. I think that I get really worked up with, with like the injustice of it all. And I'm a very passionate person. And if like I believe something, I just want to shout it from the rooftops and like make everyone understand. And this is one of those things that I feel like I post about it over and over, and I don't want to say I don't really get a response, but you know, you can see who sees your stories or who looks at it, right? The interaction is very minimal, almost always. And so sometimes it's hard to not think like, I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll post something about, you know, a suicide statistic or a little quote or something, and maybe someone did see it and needed to see that, and it changed a moment for them. Who knows? Like I feel like it's such an epidemic and it's such an issue that I think a lot of people do take it seriously, but I think there are also a lot of people that don't know anything about it and don't even care because it hasn't affected them, you know? And so it just feels really hard because we're just scratching the surface. And I'm right there with you though. Like it feels, I think maybe I get more frustrated than you do. I mean, if you get frustrated, you've never shown it. I get really frustrated because I feel like I'm not doing enough, like I'm not doing anything. And I know that sounds silly because we sit here and we put in effort every week. And so, you know, at least we're trying, right? But sometimes it just is hard to not see the fruits of our labors, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I feel like if I wasn't doing anything, I would feel more incapable of helping with the problem, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
And I always think like maybe it's even somebody that we will never know that we affect, or maybe it's like a niece or a nephew or somebody, you know,
Yeah.
that's close. So that's the hope. And I know we can't save everybody, but it hurts my heart every time. And it's a lot.
It is a lot. And then when, like, there have been instances these past couple weeks where people will lash out and hurt somebody else and then take their own life, you know? And it's just like, there's so many sick people. You know that they're not in their right mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's heavy.
It is heavy.
I get a lot of people that ask me, like, how's the podcast going? And I'm like, it's really great. And I love it. And they're like, is it hard talking about something that heavy all the time? And at first it wasn't. At first, I don't think it bothered me. I think because maybe it was so fresh. But I'm like, yeah, I think now it does take, it's not that it takes a toll on me, but I think that it's heavy. It just can feel heavy sometimes. And I think that's just the nature of it. Like, I don't think we can avoid that part.
No,
you know?
No, it's not like we're talking about sunshine and rainbows, and that's fine. I think maybe we need to have, like, gear some of our episodes towards maybe, I feel like a lot of our guests have been positive and they've been open with their own struggles and that type of thing, but maybe we need to gear some of our episodes towards positivity or people's stories about kind of coming out of it, or, you know.
Yeah, that's a great
idea.
idea. Hey, how's Jada doing?
She's doing really good. The DR, she's teaching English. She'll be gone for 3.5 months. She's been gone for 3 weeks now. And she, like, I talk to her and it's like I hear the old her, you know?
That's amazing.
it's just been such a good experience for her. She's finding some independence. She's getting to go and do whatever the heck she wants when she wants to do it. A lot of people are like, do you miss Jada? And I was like, I actually talk to her more now that she's gone. Like, she calls and we FaceTime every single day and we have these big, long conversations. And so I'm like, yeah, we actually talk more now that she's gone than we did when she was here. Because she'd come home from work and go with her boyfriend or go with her friends or,
Yeah.
So, and she's shared with me a lot of like self-discovery things that I'm really proud of her for going and doing. It's been amazing. So
I feel like this is going to be like a core memory that she'll have for the rest of her life.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a life-defining experience.
Yes, absolutely. So
good for her.
Yeah. We have something here in Idaho called Spud Harvest, and it's when we harvest the potatoes, and all of our kids get out of school for a week or two so that we can harvest the potatoes. And those of us that aren't farmers, we like to go on vacation because our kids don't have school. And so every year, this will be our 12th year, we've gone to the same place in Mexico, and it's called Rocky Point.
Oh, I didn't know you go to Rocky Point?
Yeah, that's where we go.
Really?
Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I love that place.
That's amazing.
So this will be our 12th time down there.
Wow.
In a row. And we went last year. We weren't sure if we were going to go, but we needed to get away. 2 years ago, the week before we went, Elijah was at a party and his friend shot him in the eyeball with a gummy bear and a slingshot. Yeah. And I had to take him to the emergency room that night. And when I took him in, he had all these like butterfly tattoos on his neck, like these temporary. He looked like he'd been to a rave. And we took him into the ER, and the doctor comes in and he's like, what happened? And he's got these tattoos and he's in a wife beater. And he's like, I got shot in the eye with a gummy bear. Anyways, it detached his retina and scratched his cornea. And it was bad. Like, he was in a lot of pain. And so I had to take him to like a specialist the next week a few times. Anyways, long story short, the doctor's like, if you hit your head or say like you're swimming in the ocean and the wave like puts you on the floor, it can completely detach and you will go blind. And the doctor's like, you'll probably develop glaucoma from this later on in life. And so Elijah would tell everybody, I have glaucoma. I'm like, no, you don't, not yet. He's like, don't, I have glaucoma in that eye. But so that year he was already struggling mentally, and he's like, great, we're going to go to Mexico for a week and I can't even get in the water. What am I supposed to do? And so I ordered some travel fishing poles, and I'd never been fishing in the ocean, really, like not there anyways, and not without a guide or something, and I was like, let's go fishing. Like, we can do stuff. And he's like, oh, that's lame. We don't even know what we're doing. And I'm like, yeah, we can fish. And Elijah and I, that whole trip, just fished. And we didn't catch much. And like, our flimsy little line wasn't enough for the fish in the ocean. But we actually caught stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were using the most random bait. And it was so fun. And it was such a good experience. And we just like, probably for 3 days straight, just fished morning and night. And, it's one of my favorite memories. And so last year he was watching a YouTube video. He's like, Mom, look at this. Look at what they're using. And he showed me their whole setup. And I was like, yeah, this year when we go, we'll use that. And that was the last year he went. So the next year I went, and I'd wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and walk down to the beach and just wade out like waist deep. And it was kind of crazy. I was catching all kinds of stuff. Like, it was crazy. And I was just out there alone and just in this like peace, like I could feel him. And the last day we were there, my niece went out there with me. She's like, can I go fishing with you in the morning? And I was surprised that she showed up at 6:30 on the doorstep. And I was like, you actually showed up. And we waded out waist deep and we're fishing. And I literally have like a bag of squid in my pants for bait. I'm literally chumming the water like if there's a shark.
Yeah, you're done for.
And so we're fishing, and my niece goes, Tia, I just saw a big fin. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I just saw something big jump out of the water. And in my mind, I'm like, we're standing in this water with bait in my pocket and blood and guts from the last fish we caught. Like, and I look up and sure thing, there's 4 dolphins right in front of us surfacing.
Shut up.
Yeah. And that was our 11th year, and I'd never seen dolphins before. And it was pretty incredible. It was really incredible. And so just those little things that I'm like, okay, like I see you, you know? So my husband just rolls his eyes because all my fishing gear has come to the house in Amazon packages this week, and I have a whole plan
That is amazing.
of how I'm going to catch fish. But it was funny because like I'd be out there and people walk the beach at sunrise, and I'm just out there fishing, and Troy goes and runs along the beach while I fish. And these people were stopping. They were stopping talking to each other forever behind me. And Troy came up to me and goes, yeah, those people were watching you fish. And I was like running by him, and I said, she actually catches stuff, you know? He goes, I know, because she's my wife. So,
Oh my God.
so I'm like, we leave Sunday, and I'm so looking forward to just the peace that I find doing things in the places that I did things with him, you know? And I know when those things happen, I know he can see me, and he's like, Mom, that's so cool, you know? So, yeah.
That's really special that you have the strength to continue to do those things. I always think, I try to put myself in your shoes, and I know you don't have a choice. But I just think that the way that you carry yourself is very full of grace and patience for yourself. And like it sets a really great example for me. Not just in ways to like handle experiences like that, but just for my life, you know?
Yeah.
Like just hearing you talk, it just makes me want to find peace in that way.
I would say, and I think about this a lot now, is to take the time to make memories with your people. Make sure that the time that you have with each other is one that they'll remember. Because those little things didn't seem like much. Like he was mad he couldn't swim and he had to fish, and it ended up being something that I'll always remember. But I also thought, like, when I go, what am I going to be remembered? And so, like when we went to Montana a couple weeks ago, or when we went riding bikes, I was like, is this one of the stories that my kids are going to tell about me when I'm gone? And I think about that all the time. Even while we're doing it, I'm like, or like, even it's silly, but even when I'm making like dinner and it's one of my kids' favorite food, I'm like, this is something that they're going to remember me by. And so if I could say anything, it's take the time to make memories, make time for things that are out of the ordinary or that will be special. And sometimes the normalcy of things is special.
I think a lot of times I'm sure newer moms can relate to this, but I just have a hard time. I have a hard time coping with stress sometimes. And so a lot of times I will tell myself, you know, we're going to do something fun with the girls. We're going to take them to the zoo, or we're going to take them to the park. We're going to have a really cool experience. And then I start thinking about the stress that's involved. I wasn't always this way. I don't know if it's kind of a recent thing, but the stress that's involved with it, and, you know, making sure I pack everything, and Lennon's probably going to be complaining, and Ada might start crying, and all this stuff. And so then it deters me from even wanting to do it, because I'm like, it's going to be too stressful. Like, it's not even worth it, you know? And that's something I've been trying to like teach myself, is that I mean, there's just going to be stress probably no matter what with kids. That's just part of it. And especially if I know that I'm a little more sensitive to stress, I can do things to prepare myself, but that doesn't mean I should just not do that thing with my kids, you know, because I feel like since having that mindset for the last year or two that I've missed out on a lot of things. And like you're saying, I don't want people to remember me by the things that I wasn't able to do. I want people to know me for the fun mom that I was, and I was involved and I was loving, and yeah, that's a really great perspective.
Well, and I mean, we talked about our kids being at different stages of life right now, but when you look back on your kid's childhood, I mean, maybe this isn't for everybody, but when I look back on my kid's childhood, I mean, I had 3 kids under 3, and it was so much. And I remember Troy would get home from work and be like, I can't do this anymore. And I remember it being hard, but I remember that so vaguely. My memories of when my kids were little were of us making cookies and walking the dog and going to the park. And I don't even remember them throwing fits. I remember knowing I had a hard time, but them crying or having a meltdown or complaining is not what I remember. I remember going to the zoo. I don't remember that one of them peed their pants. I don't remember that we had a meltdown. I don't, like, those aren't the memories that you keep. I remember going to the pumpkin patch. I remember going to the zoo. I remember those things.
I needed to hear that. It's definitely gotten better. I feel like I live a lot of my life kind of through fear and like trying to avoid discomfort in any way that I can, whether that's being scared or worried or stressed or, you know. And a lot of times I look at other moms who don't, and I know it's just like an outside perspective, but who don't seem to be affected in the way that I am. And so then it makes me wonder, what's wrong with me? Am I not as good of a mom? Do I not love my kids as much? But I don't think that's the case at all. I just really think that we're all different. And I think it's really what you were saying. I think it's really important that, you know, I show up for my kids in a way that, like, yeah, mommy's going to be a little stressed and probably flustered and frazzled, but I'm still going to be there. And I'm going to try my hardest to be patient and loving and present. And yeah, a lot of times I'm worried that I'll blink and then all I'll have are these negative feelings about motherhood, you know. I've definitely been able to, and I'm sure it's been with like my mood stabilizing and my medications working and my therapy, you know, being effective and stuff. So I feel like I don't struggle with it as much anymore, but I do catch myself often avoiding things because I'm scared I'm going to be stressed, or I'm scared I'm going to be worried, or anyway, I want my girls to have lots of memories with me, you know, and me to have lots of memories of them.
Yeah. I think parenting in general is just uncomfortable. Like,
that is so true.
The tantrums and the diapers and all of it is uncomfortable, but then they get into the kid stage and it's uncomfortable, and then they get into a teenage stage and it's uncomfortable. And I heard that adult children are the worst. And I think you just have to learn how to live with the discomfort. Otherwise, you're going to avoid living and avoid making those memories. But the other thing that when you were talking, I was reminded of this video I saw where they had women describe themselves as mothers, and they would say, I'm not very patient, or sometimes I yell, or sometimes these. And then they asked their kids about their moms, and their kids were like, she's the most beautiful mom I know. And she loves me and she makes me lunch. And not one kid said anything negative about their mom. And not one mom said one thing positive about herself. I need to send you the video if I can find it. I was glad when I saw it because it really changed my perspective on a lot. And it made me kind of take a step back and have some grace with myself.
I love that. I love that. I've been trying to more, because I know that this time goes fast. I've been trying to be more present and just like, instead of, oh, I gotta hurry and put Lennon to bed, and so that she needs to sleep and I have stuff to do. So instead of like rushing through bedtime so she can get to bed faster and I can get stuff done. This past week, she does this thing where I'll be putting her to bed and giving her a goodnight kiss, and as soon as I lean over to kiss her, she just like clings onto my neck, and then she'll say, "Where you go, I go." And I'm like, "No, we're not doing this again." And then she'll keep saying it, and then we get giggly. And anyway, this week she did it again. She hasn't done it in a while, and I was like, "Lennon, we can't do this." And I kind of started laughing, so she started laughing, and then I kind of just was like, I loved the feeling, and so I just laid down next to her, and she had her arms linked behind my neck, so I literally could not go. And then my forehead was just resting on hers, and I just kind of sat there and was like, I wonder how long she's gonna let me do this. And it, like, literally 2 minutes went by and it was just quiet, and then all of a sudden I heard a and I was like, is she asleep? And so I kind of like tapped her, nudged her, and she had fallen asleep in that position where she was just death gripping my neck. And it just, I don't know. I laid there for probably 5 more minutes, just like soaking it all up, because I think so many times I just try and I have dishes to do. I have laundry to fold. Like, I have so many things I need to be doing right now. And I try and rush through the beautiful moments. And then, before I know it, she's not going to do that again, And so it was like the first time that I caught myself actually intentionally trying to slow down. And I didn't regret it,
Mm-hmm.
It ended up being so special to me. And so I want to be how you're explaining yourself. Like, I just, I want to incorporate that more in my life,
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I was always like this. I think, unfortunately, life has taught me a lot. And you can't learn things if life is easy. Like, my life has been really hard. And I either stay down when life knocks me down, or I pick myself up and learn lessons and move on. And so the parent I'm describing, I'm not saying that I remember being a yeller when my kids were little, and my husband coming home being like, you don't have to yell everything you say, And I think as you get older, you learn a lot, including self-control, self-awareness. And I tell you what, by the time your kids are 18, you really get good at being the bigger person all the time. You get really good at biting your tongue, and you either are that reactive parent, which I didn't want for my daughter or my son. I did not want to be that reactive parent. Or you learn how to bite your tongue and just think, okay, maybe this is a phase. Maybe they'll be nicer soon.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah.
But, well, I just really appreciate your, I know I've said this a lot, but I know you're not the perfect mom, but you are a mom that I aspire to be like. And I'm just really grateful for you sharing your experiences and being open about some of those things, because I know that it's probably not always easy, but it does a lot of good for me.
Yeah.
A lot of things I need to hear.
Yeah. I think there's a lot we all need to hear. And I need to hear, like, I remember being a young mom and struggling, and it helps me remember, so I do appreciate that from you. And yeah, But yeah, it was making me, I talked a few episodes about taking my son rock climbing, like trying to find our teenagers, like trying to spend time with our teenagers in a way that they want to be with us. And I had taken him rock climbing and we loved it. And we even talked about getting a membership at the rock climbing gym and all these things. And it was amazing. And we like connected on a level we hadn't connected in a long time. He loved it. And 2 days later, I woke up and couldn't move my head. And I was trying so hard to connect with him that it took me like 10 days. I was in
recovery,
more pain than I have ever been in. Like I had to go to the chiropractor multiple times and go to massage therapy.
Serious?
Oh, I was in so much pain. I got like 3 migraines that week. So much pain.
Oh.
And all I can think in my head is he wants to go again and he loved it. And how am I going to do this? I tried so hard to connect that I just was reminded that I'm getting old so fast.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
But hopefully we'll find some connection on this trip. I'm really grateful that, so it was just going to be me and my husband and him this year, and I was worried about it. So we're taking one of his friends, and if you ever want your teenagers to have a good time, bring one of their friends. So I'm hoping that, I'm really grateful that this kid's parents are letting him come and just be that distraction.
That's awesome.
And that buffer, and his friends likes to fish. So
I was going to say, does Isaiah like fishing?
No, Isaiah hates fishing. Yeah, last time we went, I had to pay him $20 to go with me. And we hiked up to the top, and I jumped down these culverts to get to this really good fishing spot. And we drove in, walked in, hiked up to the top of the culverts, and I went to go hop down. And he's like, Mom, we are not doing this. He's like, this is dangerous. And I was like, I'm not going to give you $20. And he's like, I'm not going to get hurt to go fishing with you. I was like, I'll give you 30. He's like, I am not doing this. So we had to go all the way back, and we didn't even fish.
Oh my gosh.
But we found some tide pools to explore, so it was fun. So it'll be good. If I can give my listeners one piece of advice, is to just get away. Unplug from your responsibilities, unplug from your phone, from everything, and just be present with your family. And I am looking forward to that. So
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it'll be good. And I'm excited for you to be able to spend some time with your parents. So, But hopefully we will see you all on Saturday when we do the lanterns on the lake. And thank you guys for joining us for another week of Just Stay. And if we don't talk to you next week, we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. We'll see you later.
See.
See